Hey everybody, I just want to welcome you guys to the second online Casey Colletti Bareback Riding Clinic. The first one, I feel like we really focused a lot, or Casey focused a lot on equipment and equipment setup, and we spent a long time talking about that, probably over an hour and a half. So we tried to think, what should we do for this one? And I don't know, all I came up with was, what about doing one about how he made it to the NFR? And I mean, that's kind of a broad topic, but surely, just thinking, if you're a bareback rider and you're watching this video, I would say probably your end goal is to make it to the NFR, or if not, be a world champion. And so it's a broad topic, but I thought he could talk to you guys about things he went through making it to the NFR. And we're talking way back to childhood years, high school, college rodeo, pro rodeo, and maybe having to come home, get a job for a while, go back out rodeo again. So that's what I asked him to talk to you guys about today. Just remember, we're doing this simply for all of you. And we love the sport of rodeo, and we want to help the bareback riding grow. And we're just really glad you're on here. So please be active in the comments. Ask any question you have, even if it's not related to how can you make it to the NFR, but please ask any question that you have. Well, you have him right here. He has all his equipment sitting right here. That's always in the middle of our floor right here, so it's nothing new. But anyways, we really hope you guys enjoy it, and I have a little fun feature here for Casey, and so I'm going to invite him to come on in and talk to y'all.
Hey guys, yeah, how's everybody? Wow. How's it going? This is pretty cool. I haven't been in the Thompson Mack Arena for a couple of years, but this was my very first go round of my very first NFR. How many of you? For back. Sorry about that. My wife, she's computer savvy, so she got her.
I'm hiding now because my cool technical stuff didn't work. But anyway, sorry. We hope you're all back and on this new live video. We'll get the kinks worked out. Just trying to make something cool and exciting for you guys to
pretty
watch.
Pretty cool with all the backgrounds and stuff she has on here. And like the last video, that was pretty cool to be able to watch that. And I guess reminisce for a minute about going back to first time I made the NFR, like she said, talking about trying to make your first NFR. And if you're a mini bareback rider, high school kid, college kid, goals are goals. It doesn't matter. Shoot, even if you're 25th in the world, you know, your goal is still to make the NFR. At the end of the day, I don't care. Every person in rodeo, their lifelong dream is to be in the yellow buck and shoots or the yellow rope and shoot, the yellow arena, Las Vegas, Nevada in December. And that was my goal also, you know, after I started riding bucking horses. And it definitely took a lot of work and dedication, and definitely proud of being able to get there. And I bought my PRCA card in 2005, I believe, and I made the NFR for the first time in 2011. So that shows the years of dedication it took to get there, you know, through the ranks, working up. And
I'm sure that wasn't all just gravy all those years.
No, it was pretty tough. The first couple years, basically I'd rodeo in the summertime and I'd get a job in the wintertime. So I'd rodeo 3 or 4 months, you know, and win. If I was winning, I guess I could start my job a little bit later, or work or rodeo a little bit longer in the winter. And then it kind of clicked. I remember it was 2011. Of course, I was out of college and stuff, and I set goals for myself, and goals are pretty important. You know, a lot of people write their goals down. I know this one right here, she does, and I guess I'm guilty of not, but I have them up here in my head. And my goal that year was to make and win the circuit finals in the Mountain States here. And I actually came home in 2011 in, I don't even remember when it was, April or so, broke. I deposited $25 cash into my bank account, and it brought my grand total to $113.
They say rodeo is not a real job, but honestly, it's one of the hardest. I mean, one of the most rewarding, and one of the hardest jobs there is because it's not a guarantee.
Exactly. As most of you guys know, I assume it's not a guaranteed paycheck. You go rodeo and you win, you get paid. You get bucked off, you don't. And you're gonna live that week in and week out. And like I said, I had $113 to my name, so I got a job for a month and I worked, and I think I made about, I don't even know, 1,000 or two, and went out. And I remember I went to 4th of July, and I was up in Greeley. I drove to Greeley by myself, Prescott, Arizona by myself, and um, just traveling by myself on the 4th of July. And it could get gruesome and tough, and especially being alone, let alone with whether you have your wife, travel partners, anybody. It's tough, and I was by myself, and I didn't do very good at Greeley, but I won a little bit of money, I believe, and last hole possibly, and went to Prescott, and we're sitting here in our little shrine, I guess, here, and I look at the picture. It's right there, straight in front of me, on brother of Jim Kinney's, and I won Prescott on that horse, and that kind of kick-started my NFR bid, I guess. My other goals were, I wanted to win Prescott and Greeley and Denver. Those are my short-term goals, I guess we'll call it. My long-term goal was to win a gold buckle, win a world title, win the average at the NFR, make it to the NFR. But, I got short-term goals, achievable goals, which they're all achievable. It just depends on where you're at in that spot. So my goal is to win Prescott and to win Greeley, so then I would win the circuit. See, and then my goals stack up, till you get to where your ultimate goal is, whatever that may be: gold buckle, NFR qualification, or shoot, even circuit finals. And so it started there in Prescott, and I changed a few things. I was kind of having some heck with some equipment, and to be honest with you, it was probably more fight in my head, to be honest about that. And I was told by a guy once, Kelly Timmerman. He told me, he said, Casey, if you would quit fighting your head so much, you'd be a lot better. And from then on, I changed some equipment, and I it made me ride better, I guess. It changed my mindset on stuff. I changed a pair of spurs. That's what I did. I got a new pair of spurs. Whatever reason, it made my riding go from just, I guess, mediocre, we'll call it, to at that time being one of the best in the world. And then I went on and went to Cheyenne and all them good fun rodeos. And again, my goals were to win every rodeo you go to, and that's just the goal you should have every time you go and nod your head, is to win first. To ride and beat that bucking horse and make the best possible ride you could have. So it was all these leading up into my ultimate goal.
So I have a question. You hear some people say, start out with making attainable goals. Attainable means goals that will be easy for you to reach. And some people say, make big, huge goals that, hey, if you even get a percentage of the way there, you're already further than those small attainable goals. Which way do you believe? Both.
Both. I gotta say both. Just because, like she says, an attainable goal, to me, my goal this year, after being hurt, injuries, knee surgeries, and all that stuff, my goal this year was to qualify for our circuit finals. I got a little bit of a late start. I missed a lot of good big rodeos at the beginning of the year, and So my goal was just to qualify for the circuit finals for a chance to win the average, and so that's my attainable goal. Of course, my ultimate end result is to make it to the NFR and win a gold buckle. But you got to start somewhere. You can't build a house and paint the walls until you pour the foundation and put the drywall up and frame it, right? So you got to start somewhere, and that's where your goals, they're attainable, and they're not, the upper goals aren't out of reach, but they're definitely might be a little far off for some people, and by that I might say you're a mini bareback rider, so you're 8 or 10 years old, where you're not going to make the NFR for a while. Let's got to be 18 to, so you got at least 8 or 10 years until you're able to even do that. But your goal might to be make your finals close to home, or ride this next bucking horse the best you ever did and highest score you've ever had, and those goals lead up to next higher, bigger goals, and just make everything a little bit easier for you because it boosts your confidence, and it helps you to achieve your ultimate 100% goal.
So we have some Ray Schaefer says, hello, Casey. I don't know if he's talking about boy Casey or girl. No, I'm sure he's talking about boy Casey. Anyways, then we have another question. It actually came in earlier, and it was, how does one know how to set up a rigging?
Setting up a bareback rigging, it's something that it takes time to learn. It takes time because you learn from different guys. Different guys set up differently than the way I would compared to somebody else. And not saying any of it's wrong at all. It's just a personal preference. And the best thing that I could say is, once you figure it out, continue doing what you do. Since 2004, 5, 6, somewhere around there, I've set my rigging up the exact same way. It's worked for me. It doesn't eat on my hand, hurt my hand up. So I guess to really answer your question, this is the best. I'll grab my rig here. Is first start with some, your rigging. You got to get some screws. Put screws in underneath in your body. What that does is this epoxy has to hold on to something, so the screws hold the epoxy on the body, because sometimes it'll break free, and when it breaks free, I had a sticky situation down in Florida one time where I had about 20 minutes to set my rigging up, and in the middle of the ride, the epoxy broke away from the body, and that's pretty scary deal. So anyway, put 2 screws in there, and then build your epoxy ridge. It's kind of maybe hard to see. You can see the ridge over here, right there. And I like to just run it. So being a right-handed guy, I would run my epoxy ridge just about a quarter of an inch on the left side of my handle. If you're left-handed, about a quarter of an inch on the right side of your handle. The reason I do that is I want the epoxy ridge to be right here in the center of my knuckles where it hits. It'll hit right in the center of my knuckles, and what that does is it's hard for keeps your knuckles from blowing by it. If you go it too far out, your knuckles sit on the edge of it, and they could go by that. And I always try to keep everything flat, straight, contoured nice, smooth. That way it doesn't ever, no ripples. If you get ripples in it, it'll always chew up your hand. And we always said, this right here, that's your money maker. If you get to put,
it's my money maker too.
Yeah, it's your money makers too. So if you got a glove that's eating on your hand, and you're bleeding when you get off, and you're getting blisters and calluses, and it's just hurting you, it's time for something new. Whether you fix your rigging, buy a new glove, and that's what I did. I had a glove, and I just got a brand new one just the other day, actually. So I don't know. Is there any more questions yet?
No, but to go on with that, I think maybe he meant, besides just explaining how to set up a rigging, maybe there's, a kid is watching this, and he's like, okay, I heard everything you said, but, I don't know how to apply it. Who can I go to talk to? Where can I find someone to talk to? One, I say, that's what we're trying to do here. Message him. Like, he's really wanting to help you guys. Two, he just helped with a clinic this last weekend. Find a clinic with reputable and credible teachers.
Yeah, if you're, again, the last online clinic we had, it was maybe you didn't get through your head, but learn from somebody that knows what they're doing, that's been there, that's rodeoed hard, that knows the lifestyle, that's reputable, just like she said, and that's the best way to learn. Is that's how I learned going to rodeos. I didn't go to any clinics. I don't believe I ever went to one single clinic. Now, I'm not saying everybody shouldn't
But you
or
still,
nothing,
to this
but
day, even ask guys that you rodeo
exactly.
with if something's going wrong or you can't figure something out. He'll ask somebody he trusts and believes in.
Exactly. I don't just
not
ask.
every guy out there rodeoing, but somebody he looks up to and believes in.
I still have guys that I'll call if I'm doing something wrong. Or here's a prime example: the last bareback rigging that I had, I was having hell with it. I'll be completely honest with you. And I don't know why. It was just something. I still to this day don't know what it was, what it is. And I asked guys that, numerous guys, I text 3-4 guys that I trust and I believe in, that's going to tell me the truth, that's been around, that's rodeoed, that knows
at this level.
That could say, oh, I had that same thing happening to me 2 riggings ago, and this is what I did to help fix it. And I, got about the same response from almost everybody. There was a few guys that I, took theirs a little bit more, not serious, just because they had basically the exact same thing that I was going through. My feet were dropping and horses were getting away from me, and I don't know why, because I just don't know why. And I'm not saying
Jeremy, quit being the jokester all the time. You're always making me laugh. Don't even.
I don't even know.
You're talking about this.
I didn't know what the deal was. So, again, I asked friends of mine that rodeo professionally, that are going down the road day in and day out, week in, week out, year after year, that just beating up the pavement, that know. And so what did I do? I got rid of the rigging and I pulled this one out of the closet, and
everything works for different people.
Exactly.
The guy winning the world might be using something that don't work for you, or vice versa.
Exactly, and that's what
everybody's different.
People ask me all the time about strapping it, and some people, you strap them different times, and when I get a brand new rig and I strap it right away. It's just what I do, and then I stretch it and set it up. And like I said, setting up your handles for me might be different than somebody else that's rodeo going down the road day in and day out. So, again, I can't stress enough the importance of quality equipment and quality people that you're learning from. It's just hard to beat the best when you're not riding and competing and learning from the best. So I think that's a pretty good.
So there's 2 questions that are they'll work together, but it makes me laugh because of the joke that Bones just sent you.
Oh, yeah.
Tell the joke first. You can remember it, basically.
Oh, well, if you're a member of on Facebook, I'm sure some people have seen it, but it said, gosh, I'm terrible at jokes. It said something about.
You're terrible at memory.
Well, that too, I guess.
Okay, anyways, it was a funny joke about not being scored enough, and
it said,
it
said, you see how he drags his feet from the point of the shoulders up to the top of the rigging handle every jump. That's why you're only 48 points instead of 100 like you think you should be.
So, anyways, to go with that, one of the questions was, tell us about spurring, and the other is, what do you do to overcome thinking that the judges aren't marking you enough or letting you win enough?
That's go back to where I said I was fighting my head. That was stuff I was fighting my head with. Was spurring, and the judges, me thinking I wasn't getting scored enough or winning enough money, or that's just kind of a something you can't control. It's out of your control. It's a judged event. You know, the judges, they basically have their fate in your hands, essentially. But if you go out there and make sure that you do your part the best you can, spur from the point of the horse's shoulders after your good strong mark out to the top of your rigging handle, every jump for jump, then you know it leaves them without a doubt to not let you win, to not let you win money, to let you continue to go. And they're you know I definitely will not ever talk bad, but they're hard sometimes. It's hard to get past, but you have to just realize there's always another rodeo tomorrow. Like I said, the first year I made the NFR, I had $113 to my name, literally to my name. If I had to pay a bill, I'd have been hosed. I could not have. And so you just some of the best thing to do is if that's how you feel, you're not winning enough money, or you feel the judges aren't being fair to you. Sometimes the best thing to do is I didn't have a choice because I was broke, but I still felt that way. So the best thing I did was get away from it for a little bit and don't think about it. And by me going and working and stuff, I did not think about it every day. So I got past it. Of course I was working, but I definitely got past that part of the judging, because again, that's something you can't control. They are human; they do err, and if you think you rode better than you did, I've had plenty of judges tell me, um, come up and ask me, what did I do wrong? Not during the rodeo, I can tell you that they can't, and 90% of the time they won't because they're busy. They have a job to do, so they're working during the rodeo. After the rodeo, before the rodeo, the next time you see them before the rodeo, walk up and ask them, "Hey, so and so, last time we were at this rodeo over here, remember? And I thought I rode really good. What happened? Why didn't you mark me? Why was I only marked a 17 spur ride instead of a 20 like I thought I should?" And they'll explain it to you, and they'll say, "Well, you didn't do this and this and this," because they have criteria they got to follow. So that definitely, excuse me, that definitely helps you learn what to do next. So then when you go home after that rodeo, or even later that night, like I said, at a different rodeo, you could think, okay, he told me I didn't have a good strong mark out. My toes weren't turned out. That's why I didn't get marked high. So basically, tonight I'm gonna have the strongest mark out they ever seen. And my toes are gonna be cranked upside down, and I'm gonna show this guy I can do that. And that definitely that resonates in them also when you do something they tell you to do. So it definitely helps, when you talk to them before the rodeo and they say, "Oh, you didn't turn your toes out good." Great. Tonight, if you turn your toes out upside down, they're gonna go, "Man, I told him that. That's cool." And it definitely helps. So I definitely think that's something to most definitely think of
And don't be scared to ask them. Like, oh no, I'm just not going to ask them. This is your business. This is your career. I mean, it's your job. And I mean, obviously, I probably like a ref in basketball. They don't want to be yelled at, but
yeah.
I'm sure that they don't mind you diplomatically asking for their opinion.
Exactly,
And
because they're judges, so they judge not just this rodeo you're at today. They might judge the next 10 rodeos you're at, or you're going to see them all year long. There's judges that I seen when I first started rodeo. They're still judging today. So by me asking them, I learned what I did wrong, and it helps me to better myself for the future. And that's the best thing you can do is better yourself, whether it's asking judges, learning better equipment, learning from the best, going to the gym. We go to the gym. Ultimate Performance. Well, I've
sorry, James.
James.
I'll be there.
Ask her.
I'll be there. I'll have Kingsley in tow. I'll be there. I'm coming. Don't wait for me.
So
no, I'd love to go back. It's not just a gym. I mean, James at Ultimate Performance here in Pueblo is totally different ball game. I did go at one time. It's been pre-baby, but he fine tunes to the sport that they're athletes, and he fine tunes the workouts for the sport that they're competing.
Exactly. And, he'll go and watch videos.
I don't
want
to give all his tricks away, but so cool.
Yeah,
and helped him a bunch.
He'll watch what sport you're doing. So she found it. The gym. We went in and talked to him, explained what I did, showed him. He studied bareback riding, and he basically made workouts.
He's a football player. He was a football player.
Yeah.
And now, like, he'll point out things, and I'm like, you're right. You know, most people that don't rodeo, they'll watch, and you're like, no, you don't even know. You don't even know what you're talking about. And he picks out things like keeping your chin tucked. Like,
I'm good at that.
He noticed how important that was. We didn't even tell him. So, anyways, maybe if you can look into somebody in your area, it can't hurt. I mean, you are an athlete after all. There are freaks of nature out there that don't need that. I mean, there's definitely a few people, but hey, why not? Why not just be an athlete? You are an athlete. Rodeo is a sport, and it is physically demanding. I still think it's the most physically demanding. But anyways, there's a few questions. How do you prepare yourself when you know you have the best horse in the pen? We lose our bags and lose the rigging and lose everything we have and barely make it to the rodeo.
Gotta borrow stuff and barely make it to the rodeo. And then,
that happened.
Then go out. You know, when I used to have the best horse in the pen, it used to be tough on me, I'll be honest with you. There's a few times I could think of that it just, like, you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I finally drew that horse. Or, oh, I got that big scary bucking sucker. I'm going to win first if I could ride him, you know. And it's kind of one of those, once you get comfortable with your confidence, your ability, what you know you can and can't do, I guess it's easy. You know, anymore, I get so excited. My motor gets running. My legs start shaking when I have the best horse in the pen. But at the end of the day, it's still a horse. You know, and every guy has a chance on any horse at any time of the day. There's horses that I've won on that I probably shouldn't have won on. I'll be honest with you. And when you have the best one in the pen, that's a well-known horse that you know for sure, man, I really have a chance today. Don't worry about it. I just figured let the chips fall where they fall and go out there and just think in your head the same thing you do, whether it's the worst horse in the pen, a nice horse, the best horse. If you just ride them all the same, it's gonna help out more than if you overthink it. When you overthink it, remember I told you at the beginning I used to use my head too much. When you overthink stuff from experience, it doesn't go well at all. For me, maybe there are some people, they overthink it, it works out great for them. I can't. If I even remotely overthink stuff, and that'd be my recommendation, is don't overthink it. Just go in there, run your hand in your rigging the same way you do today on this best horse in the pen as you did yesterday on the worst horse on the pen and the day before on your practice horse. So,
it says, is it best to be bulky or lean for rough stock riders?
Tough. Just tough, exactly. Just tough. You know, bulky, lean, you know, just look at the bareback riders through the history of bareback riding. Think back to as far as you can, and there's guys this tall, there's guys this tall, there's guys this wide, there's guys this wide, you know, but one thing they all have in common is they all have figured out how to ride bucking horses competitively and great with their different body styles. I mean, we're all not built the same. We're all built different. So it's anything if, you know, you just figure out what to do and how to ride the best you can for your body type, for what you are, you know, and just being tough is kind of it. And that's why, like I said, going to the gym with James, you know, he kind of makes you tough there, you know. it gets you tougher, you know, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna overpower a 1,000 pound bucking horse, 1,100 pound bucking horse. I weigh 155 pounds. It ain't gonna happen. So, you know, I always try to put stuff in my favor. So honestly, it doesn't really matter if thick, thin, tall, short. Just go out there, just try your guts out, just be tough and have fun.
So, what would you say to somebody that's watching right now, a high school kid maybe, or a college kid, or even somebody that started going to the pro rodeos that, I don't know, maybe don't have people that are supportive of his goal and kind of maybe is the only one that can see that goal and kind of getting beat down a little bit? Like, you don't, maybe not telling him, but giving him the feeling of that, you don't have it, or you're built wrong for it, or you don't have the money to do it, or but he just got it in his mind that this is what he wants to do. What advice would you? Because I think that happens a lot.
Prove them wrong. I mean, if somebody's not if somebody's not supporting you, or they're beating you down, or you got buddies, we'll call them, that are telling you you're fat, too skinny, too tall, you can't do it, you know what? Don't listen to their BS. You don't have to. Go find new friends. Go find people that are in your corner, that'll push, support, help you to be the best you can. And that's in everything in life, not just bareback riding. I mean, if somebody tells you you can't build a house, show them you can. You know, I mean,
I have a perfect story for it because he's kind of struggled. He had a pretty good year in 2016, I would say, for only going to 40 rodeos and kind of being hurt in and out that whole year. But ever since his neck injury, he's kind of struggled as far as confidence. And we were at Houston this year, and here I am. I'm like, I don't know. I've never been on a boat. I watch, I study it, but still, I've never done it. And I said, go ask, and it was one of his good friends. I said, just go ask him if he sees anything different, in you or whatever. And thinking maybe he'd give him like, yeah, do this and this and this. And all he told him was, dude, you just have to remember that you're a bad, and he says, I just haven't seen that on your face, in a long time. And you're still like, it was pretty simple. And then that's the best he had rode that night that he had rode in a while. So there's something to the mental part of it and the confidence. That was just simple advice. That wasn't go change this or this or this. It was just
believe in yourself.
Confidence.
Yeah, confidence, believe in yourself. Rodeo, in any of the rodeo events, I believe, is some a little bit more, but we'll bareback riding, rough stock is 80% physical and 20% mental. You could even say 90% mental, 20% physical, or 10, I'm sorry, I'm really good at math too. And because it's such a mental game. I mean, 1 minute you could be on top of the world and just can't do no wrong ever, and you're riding great and everything, and the next minute you can't win a dime, and you barely surviving with $113 in your bank account, and your confidence goes up and down, and it's just really hard to keep the mental. You got to be mentally tough also, with just being dirty tough, to be able to ride bucking horses and take the abuse day in and day out. And she's right. When I heard that, it was more of a. He said basically after that, then he's like, man, you just quit believing in yourself because you got hurt, so you quit believing in yourself. He's like, you're the same guy today as you were 2 years ago when you hurt your neck. So just go out there and believe in yourself, because you should still ride just as good. So go out there and do it. Go out there and just believe in yourself. And she's right. I did. I rode the best I rode for quite a while there, and it definitely helped. And I still do forget every now and then, that, and then the other stuff piles on it. See how it's a mental game. You quit believing in yourself, and then your equipment doesn't work. Like I told you, the rigging of mine wasn't working, and then this doesn't work. And then you're not winning. So you get stacked up this tall with just mentally, and it's tough on a guy. So just always fight and keep your mental game sharp.
Well, I'd like to rewind back in 2011 when you, or I think 2011 when you had $113 in your bank account. That'd be where a lot of people would just hang it up. Just, now I tried, and it just goes with the story, or I think there's a lot of quotes too. Sometimes it's the darkest right before daybreak, and that would have been a point where a lot of people would have quit, and he kept going just a little bit longer, and that's the year he went to the finals. So first year anyway. So the next question is, what kind of lifting exercises do you think could help the most with bareback riding? That's a question for James,
Yeah,
but what have you done with James that has been the most beneficial for you?
You know, for me, it'd be my neck. Again, like we said, James. You know, go to your trainer wherever you're at, and just ask him. Tell him that's what we did with James. We went and told him about my neck injury that I had, and we were in there. Dang, we were in there for 3 hours a day, literally 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Friday being the hardest
Friday
day.
being the worst day ever, because he believes you have 2 days to recover after that. And but you know, for me, it was my neck and my upper body, shoulders, and all that stuff, because that's where I've had the most trouble, I would guess, is with that. You know, but he also doesn't. We do an all around body circuit, because um, I read one time, if you hurt your knee and you only rehab one knee, your other knee is not going to be good. You know, it'll still be good, but it's going to be weaker than the one you've been rehabbing for 2 or 3 months. So instead of just rehabbing a knee, rehab your whole body. Rehab both your knees, your thighs, calves, legs, ankles, everything. So, you know, definitely a full body workout. But focus on what your weaknesses are, which mine was my neck, keeping my chin down, my shoulders hurting, my neck hurting from the injury that I had. So by strengthening up my neck and working on my neck a lot, we got it to where it feels great, and it actually feels better today than it did in 2011, 12, or 13.
And that's to help you keep your chin tucked. So for people that don't know, or just go a bit further, why is it so important to keep your chin tucked?
Well, I hear it a lot. I'm not very good at it, but when you keep
think what he could accomplish if he was good at it.
Yeah. So when you keep your chin tucked, you're right here. You're staring down the barrel. That's what we call it. You're staring right down the center of the horse. Just if you're riding just a regular broke horse, if you're off looking over here, they jump that way where you go that way. So same on the bareback ride. If you're laid back looking at the stars here, you know, your chin's not down, that horse could hit and jump that way, you get bucked off. So if you're sitting, you know, chest square with your bareback rigging with the horse, they could jump sideways, up, down. If your chin's down, it's definitely a must for bareback riding. And you watch a lot of the the greats, look where their chin is at in the middle of riding, especially on rank horses, the strong bucking horses, because that's when it really counts. You know, you could get by. I've done it. I got by with some of the little bit easier horses, we'll call them, with my chin laid back this way, and still won a lot of money doing it. But then, you know, I'll get on something a little stronger, and if I don't really focus on keeping my chin down, then it goes a little array for me. Let's put it that way.
So exercise is just a pinpoint, just a bullet point, that exercises for neck. And is there anything, say these high school kids are already working out, but what can they go do in the gym tomorrow that would maybe help them? Even balance, or arms, or
balance, and I was doing an exercise the other day at the gym. It was a shoulder exercise, you know, shoulder and back exercise for me, and I even turn my toes out when I'm working out. I mean, that's part of bareback riding. You turn your toes out. That's why you got spurs on your feet, is to use them. So turn your toes out when you're working out. Forearm strength, because a lot of guys have a lot of elbow issues. Well, you know, if you don't keep your forearms strong, you know, that tendon runs from your wrist all the way up here to your elbow. Well, then guys start getting tennis elbow and stuff like that. You know, I mean, just think of something, muscles that hurt when you get off tomorrow after you get on something that bucks hard or whatever, and you rode good, and you're like, man, my neck hurts right here on this muscle. Well, it might need to be a little bit stronger. So go and work out them muscles along with the other side, not just one side, both sides, to keep everything, your foundation, your, you know, tight and strong. Same with your elbows hurting. Do forearm exercises, curls, you know, just basically a full body workout, and that's what seems to help the best. Squats are really good because when you squat down, it almost mimics you spurring. You know, your legs are here, and when you squat, you know, your legs go down, so it kind of mimics it. You know, do exercises with fast feet. Um, I would do exercises where I would jump around a lot and get really fast feet, and fast feet helps out a lot when you're spurring bucking horses, because when you spur up, boom, you're right back at the front. So if you have a horse that bucks really fast, you're beating them back to the ground. You don't beat them back to the ground, you get bucked off, or you're in the guts, and then you're like 48 points. So if you know, fast feet, that's definitely something that a guy would like or should work on, because if you're hanging out at the top, if you're once you spur, if you're just sitting up here at the top and your feet are going slow back like that, as you guys know, if you've been on horses and that happens to you, what happens? You get jerked down, fling over the front end. Well, if your feet are up back fast, they won't buck you off. So, like you say, any exercise that you could mimic bareback riding or think how it could help your bareback riding, that's super important.
So tell me if this is right. I mean, to me, I'm just listening, and we keep preaching. You know, ask somebody that knows. Well, he's a bareback rider, not a lifter. So
Exactly.
we had to find somebody that knows more than him or I put together about training your muscles. So we found somebody and went to somebody that knew more. And
Well,
I
we
mean,
were going to a
me,
gym, another gym first,
just doing our own thing.
just doing our own thing. It was
We don't know what we're doing.
just a big chain gym basically, and we'd go in there and run on the treadmill, ride the bike, go work out a little bit.
Which is good for you.
Yeah, it was
but
great.
If you want to,
but to accept,
go a step
football
further.
players aren't just going to the the gym down the road running on the treadmill. Let's put it. I mean, they're got trainers that are teaching them. Okay, you need to lift this to make your legs stronger, faster, so you can be faster. You need to do this, this, and this, and that's what we're saying again.
Find you a James
Find
in
you
your area.
Exactly, a James Ultimate Performance in your area that you could go show a video. This is what I do. I ride bucking horses. Make me up some exercises, you know, and if they're reputable, good people, and they know what they're doing. James, it didn't take him long. What was it? Like first couple days, he was kind of just, you know, getting us into it, you know, going to the gym, working out, and then he finally put together some exercises, customized to me for what I needed. I took my spur board into the gym, and you know, I mean, we had weights and everything on the spur board, and you know, it's pretty cool. I always
tell. There's a difference between trainers too that train to compete in fitness competitions as opposed to training a competitive athlete. There's a total huge difference there, and James taught us. I mean, he does all of it, but he taught us the difference in between that. So look for an athlete trainer, performance athletic trainer. That's my opinion from what I've witnessed and watched.
Like anything you could do if you can't afford a gym or don't have, say, time or should have time, but you know, if you can't afford it, would be basically one big thing. And you know, when say 2010 and 11, I didn't have time to go to the gym because I was gone so much. So it's hard to go to your local gym Monday through Friday, whatever day a week you want to go if you're not home, and it's a waste of your money if you're not, you know, in town. So, you know, I would come up with things on my own that I made up just by knowing bareback riding, watching it, knowing what muscles you need, different things to do that you could do in the van driving down the road, or
In the van?
yeah, in the
Does
van.
it have to be a van?
Truck, camper, car, limo, whatever you're driving to rodeo, you can do it, on the side of the road. And shoot, if you got 2 or 3 guys, kick 2 guys out, go run a mile, pick them up a mile later, let the other 2 guys out, they run a mile, pick them up and go. I mean, there's thousands of things you could do. You're sitting in the hotel room, instead of sleeping, go sit in the hot tub, get your muscles warmed up, and then go ride the bike for 20 minutes. There's a lot of times where I just did that just to keep, to me, the bike helped my feet stay fast. I'd crank it down real where I had to really, really push on it, and then I'd crank it to the loosest I could go and just pedal as fast as I possibly could. Let your mind teaching your feet to go fast. So to me, again, it might sound silly, but it all helps no matter what you do.
So there's a rodeo coach. I'm not sure where he's the coach at, but he asks. He says that he's trying to come up with a program to promote bareback riding and saddlebronc riding to increase the numbers because, as we all know, those events kind of really suffer. And he said that he has a lot of kids that are average ropers that have always wanted to get on bucking horses, but their parents won't let them. And he wants to help parents understand that if a kid can start, early and learn right and work on it the right way, that they have a better chance of getting big scholarships than an average roper because there are so many good ropers out there. And he just wants to know if you have an opinion or any thoughts on a way that might help him to persuade those parents to let them try it, and if they like it, to stand behind their child. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I mean, it just rodeo as a whole, I can't say is a dying off sport, but compared to other sports, it's low numbered. Especially the bareback riding, bronc riding. There's more bronc riders than there are bareback riders, and he is correct. There's thousands of ropers out there, and they all rope great. There's not very many bareback riders. So, I mean, I'm not saying if you're looking to go to college, go strap on your rigging and go to college, you'll get a scholarship. That's not how it works. You still got to be good and competitive at it, or, why would a rodeo coach trust you to pay you, I would say, to go to college for him if you're not even good at it? So, I guess to persuade your parents into doing it, I mean, go get on somewhere, whether it's at a school, somewhere that's good. Like say you say he's a rodeo coach, maybe at a really good rodeo practice where you can hand pick a horse and, okay, mom and dad, I'm gonna get on this horse. If they still aren't into it, here's a video of the last time he bucked. Maybe he's just really nice, and go around, kind of show them, the different things, but also, if you're super interested in it, I mean, beg, plead, and please
I
let
don't
me
know.
do it.
As a mom, I'm like, okay. But I don't know, maybe promote, the safety aspect of it and have, just like we've talked, credible people that can help those kids and teach them and present this to parents that what you're doing to promote safety. And I mean, that's a tough one. Honestly, I don't know if there's a right answer to your question.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
it is tough. I mean, there's, I mean, it's rodeo. Shoot, you could be. I'd seen a video the other day of a team roper horse flipped upside down on top of him. It's dangerous. You're working with animals.
Sport.
It's an extreme sport. Exactly. That's exactly what
Animals
it is.
are unpredictable no matter what you're doing.
You could
even
say
if they're
that's
broke to ride.
You could say that's the brokest horse to ride, and she might break in two today because of whatever. I mean, you never know. They're still animals. So yeah, it is a dangerous sport. We all know that. When you get involved in rodeo with that, if you don't know that, there's something wrong with you, I guess. I mean, it is dangerous, but all the safety precautions there are today, the right way to learn, who to learn from, where to practice, where not to practice, all these different things are going to help you learn to be better. I guess convince these parents that it is a good way, and they can still rope. And I do know you say he's a rodeo coach. Shoot, there's a lot of coaches that like two event cowboys. They're getting double their bang for their buck. So that'll definitely help get a scholarship if you can ride bucking horses good and you can rope good. I mean, why not? Why not go win the team roping, or why not go win the bareback ride and jump out and go win the team roping or the calf roping or the bulldogging? I mean, I always thought it'd be pretty cool to do something like that. But
as a mom, I do think it's scary, and we have a girl, so she may want to spur bucking horses, but she's not going to spur bucking horses. But I'm trying to answer from the side of a parent. I'm going to try to answer your question. If I had a son, if we had a son that wanted to do it, and he wasn't a bareback rider, and I was just terrified, what would convince me? And it would be, if it was a coach like you, to present it to me that the safety aspect of it, and you can't guarantee anything, but show me the safety part of it and what you're going to do to try to give my kid the best opportunity to learn the right way and have the best opportunity to know how to get himself out of trouble before he gets into trouble. And then I hope that I would be strong enough as a parent and to believe what I believed before I was a parent, that you have to live life to the fullest. And you can't worry. Just like everything we're going through in the world now, you can't worry. You get scared. You don't even want to go to the grocery store anymore, but you can't stop living. So hopefully, as a parent, I would just come to the point of, hey, I want my kid not to be just live, walk around safe. I want him to go accomplish extreme things, whatever he wants to accomplish. And hopefully, I would be scared, but be behind him anyway. So that's what I think from a scared mom's point of view. Do you have a healthy diet that you follow strictly, or do you just eat what's handy?
I eat what my wife
wife
cooks.
or now wife? Before wife?
I guess I've been pretty lucky, with working out, and I traveling down the road, it's really hard to eat healthy. Like you would say you'd eat healthy at home. I mean, where you could go make you a green drink. Thanks, James. Again, pretty gross, but it's good for you. And eating healthy at restaurants is really hard to do that. So I would try to find the healthiest thing on the menu and eat that.
I'm probably all guys are different too. Some have different metabolisms. Some
Exactly.
can get away with just eating whatever, and some can't. Just like everything else, everybody's different. And then there's some guys that we know in the way back. One of the greatest bareback riders of all times drank and ate nothing but coffee.
Exactly.
And was one of the rankest bareback riders of all time.
So I mean, if you could eat, basically, I guess I encourage everybody to eat healthy. Whether it's trail mix, granola bars while you're traveling, instead of eating Snickers candy bars or junk food or whatever. I would always try to eat trail mix, granola bars, string cheese. I do like string cheese quite a bit.
He actually, like from an outsider looking in, I can say that he probably eats pretty good. I'm not saying he's on a strict diet or anything. I mean, he eats what I make him.
Yeah.
But as far as snacks, he would prefer eating like something kind of healthy, and where I'm like, I just want to eat like a bag of Reese's, like all at the same time, and I just have no filter. I just eat the whole thing, and he'll eat like 2 peanut M&Ms, and I'm like, how do you eat 2 peanut M&Ms? He just don't have that. He eats pretty healthy.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty lucky. I don't have that sweet tooth, I guess we call it, where I gotta have sugar and like I gotta have it. I gotta have
Tastes
it.
so good.
Uh, you know, I'm about half addicted to chocolate milk. I can say that. I do like chocolate milk, but it's good for you. Chocolate milk has got a lot of protein in it for you. So, you know, when you're working out or outside at the ranch farm hauling hay or something, go drink some chocolate milk. And
It's his theory.
I've read that in Men's Health magazine. Come
Yeah.
on. But, I do try to eat healthy and when like this summer we were rodeoing, stop and get some diesel. I go inside and again, trail mix, not too much candy, or
And he drinks a lot of water.
I do drink a lot of water. I'd be like a camel.
He kind of is a fiend with Dr Pepper, but he just doesn't go around it.
Yeah, exactly. I do like Dr Pepper quite a bit, but I try not to get it too often. And if I do, say drink pop or soda, whatever, try to do like Sprite because Sprite has no caffeine, not much sugar in it. From I guess what the packaging says on it anyway, and the better you eat, the better you take care of yourself, the better you're gonna feel. The longer you're gonna be able to rodeo compete. You're not gonna be as sore. It just being healthy is you know, look at somebody who's really healthy and somebody who's not. Tell me which one feels better, which one could go run longer, which one could go work longer, which one's not ready for a nap at 10 o'clock in the morning, or
And what works for one won't work for the other.
exactly.
It's all a toss up. Do what's best for you. Do what makes you feel good, what makes you perform at your optimal level. But the next question is anything that you suggest traveling in? A van, a camper, etc. We had a van.
We didn't travel in the van really. We blew it up.
He tried to.
Blew the engine in the van, and
that's pretty comfortable. A van's pretty comfortable.
I would have to say, I would guess before baby, a van comfortable because it's comfortable, and when you're getting on bucking horses day in and day out, I mean you get sore. So if you're sitting in a little car, wadded up in the car all the time, you can't really get stretched out or move around very much. That goes back to eating good. You're being healthy, stretching, and everything. Well, if you're smashed in a car, you might be getting 30 miles to the gallon, which is great and wonderful. But if you're not winning any money because you're so dang sore when you get there, it's kind of a catch-22, I guess. So, I would say a van or a truck and camper, somewhere where you could stretch out. You could go lay down and stretch your muscles and heck, do yoga if you want to, or whatever. Just stretch out. We got a car and it gets great fuel mileage, but I could drive it about 2.5 hours, and it feels like somebody's jamming a knife in my back and twisting it in circles for hours and hours and hours. We got rid of the van, and we just haven't got anything else yet. But I would say something where you could definitely stretch out in, and if you have a van, it's pretty good too, because most of them you can put a bed in it and you don't have to pay for a hotel room, so it makes it a little bit cheaper that way. Just weigh your expenses on what you're doing. The couple years we traveled in a van, had a bed in the back, so we would just pull over on the side of the road and sleep there and go take showers at the Flying J.
Not that was pre me.
That was before her, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like I say, you weigh your expenses. We all know what hotel rooms cost now. They're almost ridiculously expensive anymore, and you could put that money towards
a camper or a van.
camper or a van, and you're saving so much money. Just simple math in your head. If you're gone for a week, 7 days, $100 a night for a hotel room. That's $700 just to sleep and take showers. If you have a truck and a camper, it might cost you $7, $10, $12, $15,000 for the whole setup, whatever you end up buying. But you're saving that money on hotels, because we all know $100 room anymore is like finding a unicorn. It's almost impossible. So it definitely, weigh your options on what you're doing.
How do I keep my free arm from going straight up and stiff when I ride?
really focus on it. At the clinic, we did this last weekend. Seems like the past couple years, I've seen a lot of things with guys in their free arms, and I don't understand why. Maybe it's been like this forever. I guess I just pay attention, but I see a lot of guys, they're non right here with their arm right here by their face. I'm not saying that's wrong. Again, there's guys that I see that make the NFR that they go right here, and it works great for them. You know, for me, it's a mental thing. It's oh shoot, I can't think of the word. When you do something a lot, it's second nature.
Repetition.
Repetition. When you do
Memory.
something, repetition, becomes second nature. So, like me, when I slide up, I'll have my hand on the fence right here, and all I do is open my hand, and then it just goes back right there. And so when you're on your spur board, which if you don't have one, get one. Put your arm right here. I don't know if you guys have been to clinics, haven't been to clinics. A lot of guys teach, preach, explain, act like you're holding a pizza with your free arm. She's kind of in the way. I don't want to hit her, but act like you're holding a pizza right here. Not a individual pizza, but a large pizza. So you're in line, your chest, and your elbow, and you're holding a pizza right here. So when you're practicing, if you're holding your pizza right there, when you compete, your muscle memory kicks in, and its second nature kicks in to where when you come out, boom, you're holding a pizza. And that's everything with turning your toes out, spurring up to your handle. I like to teach when you're riding and you're practicing spurring. When I practice on my spur board, I always spur to the top of my handle right here with both feet. I sit there and I keep my chin down and I spur both feet to the top of my handle. That's my goal. I want to have spur marks on the top of my handle. Now, that's hard, again, some of the horses you get on, but I'll be spurring right in here, which is still pretty good. I'm practicing here, but I'm actually hitting here is where I'm trying to do. Same thing with your free arm. If you're practicing with your free arm here, you're practicing with your free arm here, and that also could go back to straight free arm. Your balance might not be that great because what do you do when you're about to fall? You put your arm up and you're trying to keep your balance. So maybe work on balance stuff. Go stand on a ball in the garage for an hour and just work on your balance and get your balance good and keep your arms. If you're out in the garage standing on a ball for an hour or on it's called a Bosu ball. The top of it's flat and hard and the bottom of it looks like a yoga ball, and you can stand on it and it moves. Stand there and just hold it there and get your balance back, because I think that'll help out a lot too with the straight arm also.
Okay, we gotta let's do two things. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and keep throwing them out there. But two things. Is there anything you're doing with your equipment that you're doing to prepare for the circuit finals, which is the end of this month, that maybe you could show them?
Like I said, I was having issues with the last rigging, so I've been messing and playing with this rigging, and like she said earlier, it lays in the middle of the floor because then I'll think about something, and then I'll come back, and I just got a new glove the other day, and it feels really good, and I don't like cracking out new stuff at, say, a finals. It's not that big of a deal anymore because I'm confident in the way that I ride, my ability to set up my bareback rigging. I know if my rigging's too tight, not tight enough, if I need to make it tighter, stuff. But to prepare for the circuit finals, I definitely, especially breaking out, the new rigging and the new glove, I'll definitely make sure it's 100%, it's right. I've been riding the spur board outside, so I go out there and really kind of strain on it and just make sure everything's going to hold. And I practice like I play. I'll go out there and after, I haven't done it yet because I was just kind of making sure everything felt good, but I'll go out there and I'll rosin my glove. I'll tie it on, rosin my rigging, pull it down where I would pull it on a horse, not looser, not tighter, and then I'll ride my spur board out there, the Mighty Bucky that I got, and uh, practice like I play. I mean, to prepare myself mentally and know, okay, I don't. One less thing I got to worry about is my equipment failing. Ultimately, I probably should go to at least one rodeo or two rodeos before the circuit finals to make sure the equipment is good. You know, knock some of the rust off because I haven't been on for I don't even know a couple weeks now or whatever, and you know, knock the rust off and do that. You know, so I might check it out and see what I can do there. But that's how I prepare for it, and that's how I prepared for the NFR the three times I went. You know, I'd always try to think ahead. Also, you know, when you're going into a finals, whether it's the NFR, circuit finals, youth finals, amateur finals, any finals, you know, try to think ahead. And I know money doesn't grow on trees or nothing, but I would always try to get a new rig in and that I would start riding in about August or the beginning of September. That way, I was super confident in my rigging and glove going into the NFR. And it didn't have very many rides on it because I like a newer bareback rig and it just feels better to me. I can ride a lot better and whatnot. But it was, you know, it was still new. It just was newer. I'd rather have a newer rigging for the NFR or the finals than, you know, say the middle of the year unless I had to. But definitely just check your equipment and make sure everything's good.
How do you focus on keeping your feet while you're on bareback horses?
You know, I don't. I guess I've had two problems since I've rodeoed. One's keeping my chin down, and two is holding my feet. I just like to spur. After I figured out how to spur, it was just like, let's do it. Let's spur every horse you get on. Let's do it. Let's go. Um, so you know, but I really do got to focus. And what seems to help me for all of it is if I'm having trouble with keeping my chin down or something like that. Right as I'm sliding up to my rigging, right before I nod, I mean seconds before I nod, I'm thinking, you know, after everything's good, all my shoe procedure, everything's good, I sit there and think in my head, tuck your chin, tuck your chin, tuck your chin. As I'm nodding, tuck your chin, tuck your chin. You know, so there was a little spell when I was in college where I was missing out horses pretty regularly. You know, it was costing me a lot because them horses would move and they'd turn out and they'd hit when I'd spur them. And I could have won a lot more money than I did, but I did it because I missed them out. So what I started doing then was when I rode the spur board, bucking machine practice horses, as I'd slide up, I'd think, mark out, hold your feet, hold your feet, hold your feet. As I'm nodding, you know, hold your feet, and then the horse turns out, and it's the last thing on your mind, so it's the first thing you're going to do. That's the way that works, even to this day, really well for me, is if I'm having trouble with something to really focus on that right before I nod.
Well, we want to ask you guys, if you're just watching this, you know, during the replay, you didn't get a chance to watch it live, and you have I would have asked this, just put it in the comments below, and he'll answer you either in the comments or he'll message you, because I know a lot of people watched a lot of people watched the first clinic after it was done live. I know that not everybody can get to hear live, not here, but live within this hour that we were able to do it. Okay, guys, I think we're back. I'm checking to see if we're back. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We're back. I'm trying this new thing, and the software is not always right on point, or maybe it's the operator. I don't know. But anyways, if you guys like this, we'll just ask you to share it. And again, comment if you have a question that you didn't get to ask during the live segment. And we're just going to go to two more scenes. Don't go away just yet. There's a couple, something we did at the beginning I'm going to go ahead and add to the end of this. So stay hooked with us.
Rodeo is tough on its own, as we've talked for the last hour or so. You know, so it wouldn't happen without sponsors. You know, we definitely want to thank sponsors that have helped us out, not just this year, but over the years of supporting not only me, but they support families too. And
They're our partners. We
exactly.
try to do for them as much as we can too.
It's hard to call them sponsors when, like you said, it's more of a partnership than a sponsorship, because you're trying to help out them as much as they're helping us out, and it definitely would be pretty tough without them. You can see three sponsors here. It's Wood Underwear, Wrangler, and Colletti Boot Company, and without their support, especially with the injuries that I've had, a lot of this stuff, rodeo wouldn't be possible. And as you can see in the background, shows the bright lights of Las Vegas. And the other night, as you all know, the lights in Vegas weren't so bright. It was an extremely, extremely sad and bad deal. And not only rodeo, but Las Vegas has meant a lot to me and my family. Because without rodeo in Las Vegas,
And the PRCA.
and the PRCA, we definitely wouldn't have what we have today.
And live the life that we live.
Exactly, live this
Very fortunate.
awesome life. And we definitely pray for the families of the victims that were lost the other night in the shooting of Vegas, and
the whole community.
All of Las Vegas. One of her best friends lives out there in Vegas, and she just happened to be here visiting family when all this happened, and her husband was out there in Las Vegas. And it's just scary, because where that happened, there's a PRCA rodeo there, which I won last year at the exact same place. Exactly. And you never know, but without Las Vegas, the PRCA and rodeo, none of this clinic wouldn't be going on, because I wouldn't know much about bareback riding. Let's put it that way. And as I look at that screen, and I'm kind of looking in the background there, I just see lots of good memories of the NFR and Las Vegas, and the Eldorado days in the summertime. And it's just a sad deal, but I believe everybody will pull together. And
it's my best friend. She was here, and we spent a lot of time together, and she just kept saying, I'm so glad I'm here, but I so wish I was there to support my community. It's heartbreaking, and our prayers are definitely with everybody affected, and kudos to the first responders. There was a lot of heroes there, probably way more than I can even imagine, and I know there's going to be a lot to overcome for a lot of people for a long time after this, and just a lot of positive thoughts and prayers to all of you. And I'm going to go back to a scene before, so stay tuned. I'll let Casey critique this ride if he has any critique, and then comment if there's a topic that you would like him to cover on maybe clinic number 3. So thank you guys so much for coming on.
Take 2, Colletti.
It's always good to critique yourself, because you're your worst enemy or your best teacher. And right there, I could critique here and say stuff. At the end, we can see a little bit better in slow mo. I wish I'd have finished the horse a little bit better. I mean, it was probably about 9 or 10 seconds after, but I wish I'd have finished her good. I wish my mark out was a little bit stronger. She was fast out of there, not an excuse, but I definitely had to work on it. Going through here, see my chin. I'll tell you, it's really good. Like right there, see my foot drop a little bit. That was after the buzzer. But still, it's a judged event, so, maybe that judge is watching the whole time, and, it's just good to finish a horse. I always say, ride him for 10 or 12 seconds. The pickup man in the crowd will definitely wait for you to get off, and, I guess right then, I always make a joke, and I'm about 3/4 serious. If you'd have given me $1 million check and told me to spit right then, right before I rode, I'd have never done it. I was so dry-mouthed and nervous, but, just go out there and watch yourself, watch videos of yourself, try to get the best videos you can. try to learn where the best vantage point is for people to take your videos, because when you can watch it, or you can even send it to somebody. I've critiqued some guys on their videos they've sent, and I try to tell them what to work on, and that's your best bet, you know. So good luck to everybody, and we just want to thank you for joining us. And like I say, if you have any comments, questions, like, share it, send it on to friends, whatever, and we'll definitely we'll enjoy to do this again.
We'll get better on the technical end. Sorry, there was 3 takes, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you.